First off, we have Srideep Kesavan, CEO Heritage Foods, to talk to us about the new expansion plans that they have. Welcome to NDTV Profit, sir. Of course, Heritage Foods getting into the ice cream business now. Plenty of plans with regard to growth as well. Srideep, just talk to us about how the business will start to or kickstart. What should one expect in terms of the new venture?
Thanks a lot for having me on your show. Just a small correction while I take this question. First of all, we are not new in ice cream. We entered the ice cream space in the 2009, so we've been in this space for about 15 years. And the reason why we have gone in for this capital investment is that our current facility is almost run out of capacity. And as it seems, we have seen an inflection point during COVID, and we have seen tremendous growth. And the industry as such, not just Heritage Foods, industry as such has seen tremendous growth in ice cream in the last 3 or 4 years, which is why we have run out of capacity and now we are expanding the capacity.
Mr. Kesavani, Mahima also joining in. I want to understand that since you mentioned that you're already running out of capacity when it comes to the ice cream business in the plant that you already have. So that suggests that there's a lot of demand for ice creams in the market. But I want to understand that at present, what is the kind of revenue share of ice cream in the business, and going forward, where will it go to, and overall impact on your revenues and margins?
Thank you, Mahima. Value-added dairy is a focus area for the company. In the first quarter, we had about 38% of our revenue coming from value-added dairy. At Heritage, we look at our business in 3 buckets. One is milk, which is a large part of our business. Then we have value-added dairy, which was about 38% in quarter 1. And then we have what we call as consumer fats, which is ghee and butter, which contributes about 4 to 5% of our business. And in this 38% of value-added dairy contribution, ice cream would be close to about 9 or 10%. And in quarter 1, we did a 31 crores of revenue from ice creams, which is an annual run rate of close to about 110, 120 crores. But we feel that as an industry, we have barely scratched the surface as far as ice creams are concerned. In our country, impulse category retail penetration is close to about 3.5 to 4 million outlets, whereas ice cream penetration is hardly in 3.5 to 4 lakh outlets, which is just barely 10% of the retail impulse space that has been penetrated by ice creams. The headroom to grow is tremendous. Secondly, we also have seen in advanced countries, developed countries, as well as developing countries who are slightly ahead of the game compared to India, the moment the per capita income crosses $2,500, that's when consumers' discretionary spends increase. And impulse categories like ice creams will see tremendous growth. The new capacity allows us to grow our revenue from the current 110, 120 annual run revenue rate to close to about 650 to 700 crores. That's the kind of headroom we think we'll be able to explode in the next 5 to 6 years.
Right. Mr. Kesavan, how quickly does this come on stream?
So we've already kickstarted the project. I think the next 15 months, we should be able to commission the plant. We are looking at Q3 of 2025. You could say the months of October and November is when we will have this new line running.
Pretty much all of that capacity will come on stream at once. So the full 650 odd crore so maybe the incremental 500 odd crore will come straight up at one go?
No, of course. See, the business cannot jump from 120 crores to 500 crores in a year.
Right, exactly.
We are expecting the capacity to be fully utilized over the next 4 or 5 years' time. That is when the capacity or the business would mature, at least the phase 1, as we see of this particular business, would mature in 4 to 5 years. And as far as the capacity is concerned, we would be doing investment in a staggered phase. Large part of the investment would be completed by October or November of next year, and we would be adding certain other capabilities in the subsequent years. We also expect that the line will be able to manufacture several new products or innovations which we are not able to do in our current line.
All right. And then, Mr. Kesavan, from what I understand is that margins in ice cream business is better when it comes to other milk products, right? So I want to understand then, when you reach that 650 crore mark, where will the margins be at, blended margins?
It's not just ice cream. Value-added dairy as such is of great interest to us. And one of the stated objectives that we have as a company is that we are aiming to get to 6,000 crores in the next 3 years or so. That requires the business as such to grow in mid-teens. And while we get there, we wanted value-added dairy to contribute about 40% of that revenue. Today, value-added dairy is contributing on an annualized basis about 31, 32%. And that moving to 40% would have a significant impact in terms of bottom line. Of course, ice cream will be a serious contributor to that. But then, of course, the larger categories within the value-added dairy, whether it is dairy foods or dairy drinkables. Dairy drinkables is another exciting category that we are so bullish on. All of these are highly margin accretive.
All right. And Mr. Kesavan, this particular facility will have a capex of 204 crore, which will be both from debt and internal accruals. So I just want to understand the breakup, how much of it will be debt and how much of it will be internal accruals?
That'll be worked out in the due course of time. But we are comfortable as far as internal accruals are concerned. But at the same time, we will be going in for a ratio of debt as well as internal accrual.
Yeah, I want to stick to margins, Mr. Kesavan. So around 650 odd crore in terms of ice cream, 40% of 6,000 crore, roughly 2,500 odd crore in terms of value-added product. Talk to us about where margins for value-added products are today versus your current blended of higher single-digit. So what's the margin profile like currently, and do you think that has scope for improvement going forward, both on a blended basis as well as on a value-added product basis?
It's a pretty loaded question. There are so many facets to it. Let me just unpack it and address it one by one. The number that you just spelled out, which is 650 crores, is something that is going to happen over the next 5 or 6 years. Whereas the 6,000 crores is a goal that we are trying our best to accomplish in the next 3 or 4 years. So I don't think that the ice cream business will be 600 crores at that time. That's one thing that I just wanted to call out. And as far as the EBITDA margins are concerned, we are currently hovering around 8.5% EBITDA margin. It's our intention to push it to 9 or 9.5%. And that'll happen with the increase of value-added dairy contribution in our portfolio. And value-added dairy, essentially on an average, contributes about 3 to 4% EBITDA higher than milk. But one should remember that we are in a business, the dairying is always known for its cyclicity, and a large part of our cost is actually the raw material cost, which is driven by the raw milk prices. So there will be a little bit of a cyclicity on a comparable basis. I think that we'll be able to expand the margin, but that all depends on the base price of milk at any point in time.
All right. Mr. Kesavan, I also want to understand with respect to your subsidiary, which is Heritage Nutrivet Limited, because it did very well in Q1. So I want to understand that how are you planning to scale that up, and what's the strategy going ahead?
So one of the very reasons why we got into this business is to empower our farmers. In fact, it is enshrined in our vision itself to empower our farmers. And we believe empowering farmers actually means increasing or enhancing their revenue at a farm household level or agricultural household level. And that happens when productivity of milk improves in every producing household. And towards that, we are doing a lot of initiatives. We actually work with over 3 lakh farmers. As of today, at any point in time, we have 2 lakh plus farmers who are pouring milk to us. And one of these essential ways of improving productivity of dairying animals is by improving the quality of feed that goes to these animals. And even today, the penetration of concentrated feed in India is pretty low. And we are expanding that. Today, we have increased the penetration of concentrated feed among our farmers tremendously. We are looking at expanding that even further. That is what is driving the growth of Heritage Nutrivet Limited.
Let me come to the traditional business, milk. Talk to us about volume growth that you're anticipating in FY25, and what's the kind of top line that you expect it to contribute if in 3 to 4 years you have an aspiration of getting to 6,000 crore?
Sure. See, milk is actually the base, the foundational business for us, right? It still contributes upwards of 60% of revenue. So without growing milk, obviously we cannot grow our overall pie at in mid-teens over a long period in time. So of course, milk has to grow, but we should understand that milk as a category in metropolitan cities have got very high penetration level. For example, whether it is Hyderabad or Bangalore, milk as an industry would have penetration of 90 to 95%. So actually the category in these cities would grow at the rate of urbanization, and urbanization would be growing in the range of 2 or 3% year on year, or urbanization or population or whatever you want to call it. So milk in these metropolitan cities would grow at that rate. So for us, we are expanding our horizon beyond the metropolitan cities. We are going into tier 1 and tier 2. These are cities where milk penetration is still only in the mid 50s or at best 60%. We see tremendous potential in driving growth in these tier 1, tier 2 cities. And that is what is helping us grow our milk volumes better. In Q1, we grew our milk volumes by about 4.6%. We are working hard to take this number up higher to around 6 to 7%. So that's what we are working towards, and you will see the steady progress as the company goes forward.
All right, Mr. Kesavan. Well, thank you so much for giving us those insights on heritage food. Lovely chatting with you, and thank you so much for taking our time and speaking with us at NDTV Profit.